joined the cult, Bethel School of Supernatural Ministry, and it is time to talk about something highly controversial. I can already feel the Bethel people in my comments coming for me, so wish me well, but we are going to talk about grave soaking. I'm going to start by saying that grave soaking is not something that all students or leaders do or believe in, but it is something that some do and believe in. So what this is going to the graves of dead prophets and revivalists, laying on their graves and soaking up their anointing from the ground. I'm sure based on first impressions you can understand why Bethel would not want to put their stamp of approval on such a practice, but they also were not denouncing it when I was there at all, and it was something that I do know that people in top leadership believed in and did. Up the leadership ladder, there definitely were different beliefs going on, and Bethel would talk about this sometimes. They would say like, well, we don't all agree on every single thing. So some leaders were more mystical than others. So yeah, some believed that you could lay on the graves of dead prophets and soak up their anointing, and it was something that people did for fun. So this was not something that I saw super commonly while I was at Bethel, but it actually was something more common at my internship that I did. So I'm going to talk about it more later, but I did intern for Georgine and Winnie Banoff out in Pennsylvania. This was my third year internship, and I kind of like did it abroad. You can do your internship in Reading, or you can go and do it somewhere else with like a Bethel affiliated person. So at that school, it was called Global Celebration School of Supernatural Ministry in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And in that area, the students there, they were really into that. So, I mean, in this world, there are people that do believe in this and they do this. Another outlandish belief is that you can live forever. Now, this basis, remember, Bethel believes that it is always God's will to heal. So if it is always God's will to heal, then why would you ever die? I'm going to share more about my story later on, but if you have followed me at all, you know that I did get married to somebody in this cult because a false prophet said that God was giving me to him. Okay, so my ex-husband, who ended up being extremely abusive, like life-threateningly abusive, he believed that he was never going to die. This is a belief I have a lot of experience with. It gave me a lot of anxiety when we were married because I genuinely thought that I was going to have to try to raise him from the dead. He would always say, I'm never going to die, and if I did, you would just raise me from the dead. So imagine how much anxiety that would give someone, the amount of pressure that has. I know for a fact that this was a belief held by Bill Johnson's late wife, Beni Johnson. She was a bit more out there. She believed in a lot of like more mystical things than a lot of the other leaders. And one time in second year, she came to talk to our class, and she told us that she had a friend who was over 300 years old. Like, she genuinely said that from the pulpit. And I was like, she said that he had been living for hundreds of years and that he was going to live forever. So that was pretty crazy. So I know for a fact that she believed that. Bill Johnson was always kind of just like non-committal on some of these like more mystical things, probably to like save face because he knows that it would definitely not look good. A lot of Bethel students would even daydream about coming upon like a fatal car accident and raising people from the dead. And I do know that there was a team that called themselves the Dead Raisers, and they used to either go to morgues or talk about going to morgues. I don't really remember. It was a long time ago, but this was a common held belief that a lot of Bethel people had. Another crazy one is astral projection. I did meet a few people at Bethel who believed that they could leave their body and be halfway across the world and all of that sort of thing. And I know that that's not strictly a charismatic Christianity thing. I know that there are other like religions and stuff that believe in this, but that was just another thing that some Bethel students did believe in. And lastly, for another crazy belief, some people believe that God would give people gold teeth. Okay, so this was in the Finger of God documentary, and people would say like, God gave me gold teeth. I was like in a worship service, and then all of a sudden I felt something in my mouth, and I looked, and something that was a normal tooth before was now a gold tooth. So, you know, that's just something that, and this isn't even just Bethel people, this is just something that a lot of charismatic people believe can happen. In the next video, I'm going to go back to the school and I'm going to talk about some of the different activations that you can do. So mine, like I said, was servicing one street and knocking on doors all year. I'm going to talk about that. And I think I still have an email that shows like the different activations that you can do. So follow for part 12.